My name is Anaya Cheyenne, and I'm from Connecticut, but I'm currently living in Atlanta, Georgia. I auditioned for The Voice because I just saw all the amazing talent on the show, and I was like, oh my God, I can do that too. So I got the courage and I got the bravery, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna show my gift. My hometown is in Norwalk, Connecticut, and my family, literally my whole family, I have a huge family, they're all rooting for me. Um, as far as leaving anything behind, I left my mom and my little sister and my big sister, basically my family. My singing journey has been crazy. It's literally been a roller coaster. As far as the good and the bad, I just had so many like great things manifesting and happening for me that I'm just really grateful for. So I'm just seeing my dream come to life. I'm on Team Kelly, and the experience was just crazy. Not only did Kelly turn around, but Blake turned around too. And it was a tough decision. I was like, you know what, he's giving a lot of, he's encouraging me a lot, and I'm just like, okay, Blake or Kelly, Blake or Kelly. And I was like, you know what, I think Kelly can really help me through this process. So I chose Kelly. I think Kelly's a good fit for me because she has a really high range. And not only does she have a high range, but she's really good at using her low register too. So I think it's really great how she's really well-rounded and using her voice in different ways. So I was just like, you know what, she could really help me with that. Just because she's a powerhouse, it doesn't mean she can't help me with, my tone. My tone has a very warm feeling to it. But I was like, you know what, she's a pro and I think she could really help me. So far, Kelly has taught me a lot. She taught me to really pay attention to the meaning of the song. She was like, whether it's, an emotional feeling or whether it's upbeat, like, I'm empowered, I'm gonna stick up for myself. I really think, like, she's helped me, stand in my power more. I feel like everything, like I love all genres of music, but the music that really inspires me the most is pop, I guess, because it's that everybody loves pop. Everybody loves that upbeat feel that, on your worst days, you get to turn on your radio and you hear something that really brings you up instead of, mopes you down. Although people love those sentimental, like emotional songs that you can really relate to. I just think people love being boosted up.
So you're definitely.
It would mean a lot to win The Voice. I'm just grateful for this opportunity, and I think it's a very special thing to be where I'm at now. And I think my gift can bring me very far during this process. And I'm just believing and I'm hoping and I'm gonna stay faithful. And I was telling myself, I was like, you know what, you got this. I'm saying like positive affirmations every day, like you can do this, just be you, just do what you do best. And I think I have the potential to win.
Yeah, so I grew up in a really small town called Eden, Wisconsin, about 500 people, depending on which, they actually update one population sign on each side of town every 10 years. So the population is different depending on what side of town you drive in from. But it's a really small town. I grew up there, and I went to school in a slightly larger town, Fond du Lac, nearby. And yeah, I went to college for a short while before dropping out, and then I decided to move to the West Coast, and I've been in Portland for about 10 years and been touring professionally for about 8 years. So. I'm a full-time musician. So I was just in Europe for a month touring, and I was on the road for about 7 months last year. So no one ever really knows, so I don't have to answer very many questions. So no one really knows where I am at any given moment. So for all they know, I'm in Wisconsin or Oregon or something right now. So I don't, yeah, I don't get a lot of phone calls asking where I am. People are kind of used to living in ignorant bliss, so. My singing journey? Well, I grew up singing in the church. I grew up in a Catholic household, and I don't practice any faith or anything anymore, but that was a great platform for me to be introduced to music. My Aunt Rosie led the church choir, and so our whole family was just pretty musical. And then throughout high school, I was in mirage of like bad bands and good, ranging from bad to good, anything from like I think my first band was an alt rock band, and I was in a metal band for a while, so really tried a lot of different stuff out in my youth. And then when I was at 19 and I moved to the West Coast, I started kind of getting into old folk music, old jazz music, ragtime, kind of turn of the century American music. And so, yeah, I led a jazz band in Portland, Oregon for about 6-7 years. And then 2 years ago, I started pursuing my solo singer-songwriter career. I'd say singer-songwriter, which is a very wide blanket, I guess, but it's got jazz influences. I love a lot of old 60s country like Townes Van Zandt and just like great, well-intentioned writers. Paul Simon, Townes Van Zandt, stuff like that. So very lyrically based music. I'm not like a vocal acrobat, like woo, that kind of stuff. That's not really my thing, but I just like singing songs that mean something. I really had no idea, like, depending on who I was really going to choose. But when I went to go do the actual audition, I perform all the time, but performing on the show is such a different experience than, performing at a gig or a club or a house show. And so when I got on stage, I just picked a point actually at the back of the room and was just like, that's the place I'm looking for the whole thing. So I didn't actually see any of them turn until I looked down after the performance. And I was like, oh, great, 3 people turned. What great news. And so they all had really clever and helpful things to say, critiques, and it was mostly compliments, which was, really reassuring and nice. And they all had great things to say, but Nick said some stuff about Irish folk music that he had grown up with, which was really unexpected. I don't really listen to popular top 40 music, so I've never really listened to any of the 4 of their music before. But yeah, they all had really nice things to say, and of course I value their opinion because they're all successful artists in the industry. So yeah, Nick said some great stuff about, folk music and the intention of songwriting, which I really connected with because I pretty much only play my own original music in the first place. And so I just kind of felt like he said the most things that were like in alignment with my beliefs as a songwriter and a musician, so I decided to pick him. I honestly didn't think about it too much because you're in the moment and it's all happening and you're just like, it's just bizarre, completely bizarre experience. But yeah, I think afterwards I had a lot more time, obviously, to think about what it meant to be on his team. And I think him being a first-year coach, a lot of his fan base is going to be, really embracing his team. And so I think it felt like a good decision for multiple reasons. I would be very surprised. I would be very surprised if I won the show. I'm just happy to be here, and I think my favorite thing about being here is actually just the other people, like the contestants. I just imagine LA and Hollywood being so kind of like soulless and mean, you know what I mean? And it's kind of cutthroat, and everyone's trying to make a name for themselves, and so to come here and have experienced the kindness of all these other hardworking artists with integrity has been my favorite part of being here. And so really, like, however long I make it, I'm, grateful for the opportunity. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and it's kind of my stance on it, so. Fun fact, both my grandparents wrote and played jazz music together, and so they both passed before I could meet them. But yeah, they've been a big inspiration to me, and I feel some kind of connection to their person, so.
My name is Jules, and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I wanted to audition for The Voice because it's such a big platform, and you can get so many different people, like, their eyes on you, which is super cool. The Voice found me via Instagram, and they reached out, and I did my blind audition, and here we are. Well, I was standing before those red doors, and my heart was beating so fast, and then I walked out, and I performed. It was all a blur. But I do recall Blake and Kelly both turning at the end of my performance, and I didn't kick Kelly. I picked Kelly. I picked Kelly because I've always looked up to her so much with her music and everything, and she's just such a cool, positive personality in the world, and I look up to her so much, so that's why I chose her. I've been singing since I was born, I think. I don't really recall an exact date, but I know when I was 5, I was really like, this is what I want to do. I actually just started online school for this semester, but I am a sophomore in high school, and since I can't really be there, they kind of made me like do online instead, which I'm not mad about. I mean, there's crazy kids at school, so I'd rather do that than be in, I guess, but yeah. I love cooking. I love cooking, I love baking. Does not mean I'm great at it, but I do love it. I love making food.
My name is Mandi Thomas, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I chose to audition for The Voice because I am a vocal coach, and I've always wanted to do it. I tried a couple times before, but it never really worked out. And then I had a couple of students that actually were successful on The Voice, and I tried to do it myself, and then here I am. My hometown is Bartlett, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Memphis. So I like to just say, I'm from Memphis in general. But all my family and friends live there. I was born and raised there. I started taking vocal lessons at the age of 10, and I was classically trained. And I knew I wanted to teach before I even graduated high school, so I pursued that in college as well. And after graduating college, I've been teaching for the last 10 years. And I also have a band that plays on the weekends. In my blind audition, I got about a couple lines into my song and then noticed that Kelly had turned around. And then I kind of blacked out, by the end of it. And then she was the only one that did turn around, but I'm so grateful because she was the one that I wanted the whole time. I think Kelly is a great fit for me personally because I heard that she is also classically trained and she loves to sing multiple genres as well. So I think she can help me, choose my path and decide where I want to land myself. So far from working with Kelly, I've learned to just trust myself and my instincts with singing. Just do what I love and go for it. And it doesn't really matter what genre it is, so just have fun and give it my all. If I won The Voice, it would mean the world to me because part of the reason I'm doing this is to encourage my students to do something like I auditioned because I wanted them to know that I had the courage to do it myself. So how can I push them to do something that I was scared to do?
My name is Michael Williams, and I'm from Mason, Ohio. I wanted to audition for The Voice to kind of grow my platform. I mean, I was doing mostly theater where I was from, not a lot of musical opportunities. I know my job was at an amusement park, so I was doing a lot of music, performing at an amusement park, but then I kind of just wanted to experience music outside of Mason, and so I chose The Voice. So my hometown is Mason, Ohio, and my community is rooting for me. So my family, I come from a family of 5 kids, and even more beyond that, our extended family. And so not only them, but my friends back home. So I left Kings Island, my job. I was doing Winterfest, which is like a Christmas kind of holiday, community event. And so it goes from right after Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve. And so I was able to perform on a trolley. I had the top hat and coattails, and we did a dancing and singing show with a bunch of Christmas classics. So my singing journey started when I was like 6 years old. I was singing before that. We have a video where I'm singing Happy Birthday to my brother when I was like 3, but my journey kind of started when I was 6. So I kind of found out that you could do singing lessons, and I knew I wanted to, get better at singing because I loved it. I heard my mom singing around the house, so I was like, hey, Mom, Dad, for Christmas, can I have singing lessons? And so after that, I don't know if I got them for Christmas, but it was shortly after that I got singing lessons, and so that kind of started the ball rolling. I started doing recitals and stuff like that, and then I was given the chance to do theater, like community theater in my area, and I got a lot of opportunities through theater, and I did that till I actually did theater till I was 17, but I was also playing baseball. So my blind audition song, so the blind audition day when Nick turned his chair, it was crazy. It was so surreal. It was like a dream. It was near the end of my song, so, I was singing my song and just kind of going through the motions, putting my all into it. And it was near the end of the song, and I was like, okay, I put my best effort into it, and so we'll see. And then he turned around, and I pointed at him. I was like, yeah, singing my last few notes. So, yeah, it was really exciting. It was really crazy, but I think I went backstage, and I heard him say, and that's Michael took the last spot on my team, and I was like, wow, I went crazy. Yeah. Nick is good fit for me because he comes from a background similar to mine. I mean, he was doing music when he was a kid, but he also started in theater, and so we kind of both come from that background. And then he's also in the genre that I want to do, so pop music is what I want to do, and so, just to be able to have his advice, his coaching, I'm going to take that with me for the rest of my life. So I've learned so far, working with Nick, I've learned to be confident in my abilities. He's given me a lot of tips on actually specific placing notes and having fun with the song I'm singing, even if it's a sad song, putting fun into it and enjoying it and getting the most out of the experience.
My name is Roderick Chambers, and I'm from Miami, Florida. I wanted to join The Voice because I thought it would be a really great opportunity to get some exposure for what it is, that I do. I'm lucky enough to be a full-time musician. It's what I love, so I think that The Voice will really amplify that to a level that I would like to get to. My singing journey has been a very long one. I started, my brother and I, he was pretty much, my older brother's been the ringleader for everything. We started singing family stuff. Like, I guess my parents got wind that we could sing, so at that point it's like every family reunion, everything, Richie and Roderick are singing. And then high school, formed a group. We did the 5-guy harmony thing, Boys to Men kind of stuff. Different local events they had in Florida, we would do them just constantly. The biggest thing we did was we did the 2008 finals, NBA finals, and it was like the biggest thing we did. It was televised. I think it was like 22,000 people there, and it was something. I'm on Team Nick. He turned his chair for me. He was the only one who turned his chair. Pretty much from the time I sang like 2 lines, he turned around. I was really excited. And he seemed like very excited, and he seemed surprised that he was the only one to turn. But it's funny because he actually reminds me of my older brother. There's something about him that's very similar. And the fact that he is in a group with his brothers, 3 of them. I was in a group for like 17 years with my older brother and a friend of mine who's like a brother. So it's really exciting to get a chair turn from him. And just to be on his team, it's really awesome. It would be amazing. It would be shocking for me. Like my journey has been so long. I don't even know what to say. To win, I don't even know how I would feel. I don't know, but it would be positive things. I just don't know. It would be really one of the greatest things I've ever experienced on my musical journey, I think.
Where is the buzz? Oh, yeah. Where is the buzz? You said was mine.
Where